spec. So if they're trying to play the long game, they want to get a lot of good farm onto Dreamo Cell, and he can get that done. It's just that it does feel like GeekFam can keep a lid on that. They can start shutting down the map fast. They've got the Beastmaster for push. A troll doesn't need to farm for too long. So it's really going to be down to what they pick for Carl, I think, for GeekFam, to really start setting the pace up against Boom. Boom, they need to play a stall game because they have a spec.
That they do. I wonder what they're going to choose for Carl here. It seems like a nice time to go for something like that mid Queen of Pain, if you did want to run that. You're going to be up against the Ember mid more than likely anyway. Maybe they switch it out with the Batrider, but then you'd have an Ember off, which just kind of seems lackluster. You wouldn't mind seeing that Quap, because again, you don't really want to fight into Boom Esports late. You want to try and take this game out ASAP, because the Spectre's just going to get out of control sometime during the later stages of the game. So some kind of tempo setting mid that's just going to start running down lanes. Maybe even the TA, right? You've got an Ember there. Sure, you don't enjoy the Flame Guard burning through Refraction. Well, then again, though, if you run the Bat mid up against TA, it's going to be pretty bad. So maybe
we
not.
saw that last time.
We did.
It can be a bit wonky. I think one of the Spirit Brothers would be nice here. Either the Void Spirit or the Storm. There's not really the best response from Boom. They would have to expend the lasso, basically, to lock you in. So you could get a lot of value there. Tear through the backline, tear through the spec early on, and that's really all you want from GeekFam. As you mentioned, just tempo setting, shut down the map, and that's it.
Well, we'll see the last ban from GeekFam. Now, they do get rid of the Pangolier. A natural sort of counter towards that troll. Just a very frustrating hero for the troll to have to play against, because that lucky shot disarm can be really rough if you are the poor troll warlord. Boom Esports, their final ban, they are letting the reserve time tick down quite a bit for this final ban out here up against GeekFam. They are looking for a mid hero. This is going to be Carl's. I mean, you wouldn't even mind seeing something like a Void Spirit pop out, but they actually ban out the Invoker, surprisingly enough, which I've got to say I wasn't really expecting. But it's removed. Maybe this next pick will kind of tell us why they ban Invoker.
Yeah, I think it's rather strange. The only thing I can see coming out from that Invoker for GeekFam would have been Alacrity for the Troll. I guess that just makes it so much harder to fight into it. So they don't want that super strong Troll running down them.
Right.
Otherwise, there's no natural combo. You're not seeing like the Legion Commander duel into Sunstrike in this case.
Well, Boom really letting that time tick out. Maybe feeling like they're in a bit of a corner here with this draft. 1 second, or 2 seconds was left. They pick up the Void Spirit. So, 2 spirits on their side of things. I believe that should be the off-lane Void Spirit and pos 4 Batrider now with a mid-Ember. Still very flexible, but do you believe it's different?
I'm not sure if they want the Ember Spirit on FBZ or on Hyde, because FBZ plays a lot of a Batrider.
Okay.
That's the main thing. Like, he does play a lot more Bat than he does Ember. And I believe Boom has picked up the Ember for a couple of times. Not enough to say that it's absolutely Hyde's hero. So there is still that flexibility here for Boom. Their lineup is pretty strange, I think. They went a bit too far in the flexibility here. So there's some EXP timings they have to watch out for, and GeekFam, they just go straight to Necrophos. Yeah, they don't want to kid around. They just want to kill these big targets out. They've got the control. They've got the damage. Boom, they're going to have to buy a lot of space for that Spectre to really find some farm here.
But now if you are Boom Esports, you run the Bat mid, right? Because up against Necrophos, the Bat will just destroy him. So you could run the Batrider mid Oh, Cuckoo's playing the off Necrophos. So Carl's playing Beastmaster then. We'll switch over to the screen so everyone can see properly.
That's That's a shakeup.
That is definitely a shakeup. I'm not sure if that's a misclick, but mid Beastmaster can still work. We saw that yesterday, did we not?
Yeah, we did. And you can't make it work. It looks like Mikado and the Void Spirit. Yeah, it's a hide Ember, so it's FBZ on the bat. It's a support pause for Ember Spirit for Boom. There's some potency here. It's definitely greedy. Very
It's
greedy from Boom.
it looks like they got drafted into a corner. GeekFam, I I think we could both agree are way ahead when it comes to this draft. Like they can definitely make this draft work on Boom Esports, for sure. But if they fail during that early to mid stage, they fall apart. Uh, you can hope for Dream Assault in the later stage of the game, but it may never get to that point up against a Troll Beastmaster and Necrophos. And even if you do get huge, Cuckoo's there with the Reaper Scythe.
Yeah. It's a lot to really watch out for, and I think GeekFam, the draft is just so much more easier to execute as well. On top of that, so the room for Boom here is pretty short. I mean, honestly, from that Batrider pick into the Oracle, it was always going to be somewhat tricky for Boom because they were just straight up countered. I think it really did kind of lose its potency just with those early picks from GeekFam.
We'll go into it though. Game number 1 between GeekFam versus Boom Esports. It's of course a best of 2 series for these round robin group stages. It's a lot of pressure here on Dreamer, so he may need to get involved in these team fights earlier than he would like, so we might see a very unique kind of item build from Dreamer Cell. Of course, they're going to run Cuckoo up against that Spectre because there's nothing the Spectre can do to stop Cuckoo from just dominating the lane. And this is kind of that ban you would have thought you would have seen in the draft stage instead of that Invoker we saw earlier on.
Yeah, it's not gonna be easy for Dreamosol. Just Cuckoo does have all the answers. Like he can sustain himself well. Dreamosol, it's gonna be eating through a lot of regen to keep himself in that lane. And you have to remember, Zephyr's around with the Maldic Cask. It can be really hard to get up to those creeps and find the last hits.
This is one of those games as well for Cuckoo where you just want to go Aghanim Scepter on Necrophos. Like, having the Heartstopper aura increase with Ghost Form on a 10-second cooldown later on in the game. He's dealing like 5% of your HP at a time. Well, bot lane, there's going to be a bit of an engagement here. Cuckoo going to be in trouble. They'll try to kill him off very, very early on. He does Fairy Fire, but the first blood will go the way of Hyde. And Zephyr is still trying to get a trade here onto Kezcube, but he may have overextended. Chains come out once again. It'll be a double coming out now. Hyde looks to pick this one up. In fact, no, he wanted to give it over to the Dreamer Soul, but now this Coconut bounces through. They got greedy. Hyde does take the double kill, but will give up his own life in the process. Still a great start for Boom Esports.
Definitely is. I guess that's one way to take away the potency of Cuckoo. Just run a very early tri-lane and they're going to keep going. They're actually sending Hyde back down here.
Oh, this is actually super smart, though, from Boom. Because now with the Ember here in the tri-lane, you can't do anything. Zephyr can't really help out. Chain's coming out again. Like, the Spectre's not going to care about his levels. Dreamer Soul's more than happy to just keep hitting creeps and making gold for himself. This is probably the only way they could have played this right, and I can respect that. In fact, here we go again. Dagger out, chains onto Cuckoo. They don't get the double chains off, but Cuckoo is almost certainly just dead. Zephyr throws out the paralyzing cast, but again, a great slow out from Kezcube, and Zephyr probably will die. Hyde looking to trade his life away for it. He's going to die. Now the salve out from Zephyr. It does get cancelled. Dreamer Soul with the quick dagger out. But you won't mind that death on the Ember because you just killed Cuckoo again.
You're still perfectly fine, and again, Boom applying all that pressure bot. It's actually paying off. Like FBZ is still getting a massive creep wave pushing into his tower, so he's gonna find the EXP he wants on the bat. And Whitemon is trying to pressure, but dip into the tree line and salve up. Not gonna be a problem.
They have actually let the tri-lane go for a bit. Hyde's actually going to be trying to stack for his team, but missed that one. So I guess that's the thing, right? At some point, you are going to have to leave this lane and hide as that level 1 Ember. Going to start roaming up to the top lane. He will eventually TP because FBZ is having a tough time and Raven is just taking the tier 1 tower. We're only 2 minutes into the game, John. Look at the HP of that tower.
Oh,
FBZ
man.
literally has to Firefly to force Raven back.
Yeah, that's one benefit for GeekFam. With FBZ all alone getting the EXP, Troll can shove hard. So, gonna have to keep this lane in check. Raven still isn't quite on top in terms of farm, but I'm sure all the space given to him, he doesn't really mind too much.
Well, he just spent a minute hitting a tower, John. How could he be on top of CS? He wasn't exactly focusing on creeps at that point. Carl looks to be doing okay in the mid lane as well up against Makoto. Makoto getting on top of the CS board. In fact, some nice damage being dealt to Carl. And ultimately, Makoto has seemingly been somewhat unaffected by this Beastmaster mid.
Yeah, I don't think it's too bad for something like the Void Spirit. In fact, Carl is really low.
Yeah, they have to dissimulate there. Makoto would have loved to have his Aether Remnant right now. Tries to go for the sneaky dissimulate, doesn't quite get there. Bot lane, however, look at Cuckoo. Being chased down once again. Eventually, they will give up on that chase. That's still great news, forcing out another salve usage from Cuckoo.
Yeah, it's a lot of money and resources being invested to keep that bot lane simply functional. And Cuckoo lagging behind in terms of EXP. You're going to see Dreamocell hit 4 right as Cuckoo hits 3. It's not the best. You can't expect the Necrophos to really dominate this lane anymore.
No, that is definitely true. Hyde going to just chase down Whiteman up at the top lane. We'll see a tip come out of Zephyr for Carl on the Beastmaster, who currently just keeps farming. Just got to wait till that level 6 mark before you can really do anything up against this Void Spirit. Makoto is essentially waiting for the same thing, though in all fairness, Makoto is out-leveling Carl quite nicely. Almost a full level ahead of him. In fact, he is now.
Yeah,
and top lane. FBZ gonna die. Whiteman, Purifying Flames was enough. FBZ trying to skip the creep wave, doesn't quite get away with it. Hyde will try to do the same thing and just pull it his way, but Whiteman's going to follow him down all the way, and you have Fortune's End as well, just to root him in place like this. Bot lane, however, Cuckoo does end up dying. Kezcute will be traded, but Dreamocell probably going to find another kill here on the Spectre.
Yeah, that's a bit much. Dreamocell's getting a little bit too much from the lane. He is still finding decent farm. Those kills are most definitely helping him line his pockets, and the Spectre is just winning out a bit too much. Like, you could say the same for Raven up top, but he's not finding kills, which is fine, but this is the time to shut down a Spec. The laning phase is its weakest point, and with this kind of start, I think Dreamocell's going to be able to transition to the jungle fairly soon, and fairly safely.
That's what they kind of wanted with that Reaper's, with the Necrophos pick. That was the whole point. It was just the 200 IQ play from Boom to have the Ember tri-lane to start. It's just screwed over Cuckoo so hard. The Necrophos, without a level advantage, really can't win this lane anymore. You can only just static the lane if you could do that. Mid lane, they make the jump now onto Carl. Carl in big trouble, commits the Roar here onto the Ember. He probably will still die though. No, he gets away, does secure the kill there with Zephyr. And Makoto had no spells off cooldown. He couldn't go back in.
Yeah, that's a massive loss for them, and GeekFam is starting to find the trades. You're feeding kills away to Raven now as well with all these creep cuts. Probably not the time to keep that up anymore. You're just giving a lot more for the Troll to find now as well.
Yeah, it's just a battle transcommittal there onto FBZ. The Batrider just not enjoying this top lane, trying to continuously skip the creep wave, but it's just not working out for him. Raven, generally POS 1s would usually just stick by the tier 1 tower and keep farming, but Raven isn't. He is going for those kills. Still bot lane, Dreamocell is doing the exact same thing onto Cuckoo, but Zephyr with a quick TP will save his teammate again, but now Hyde coming in. He does get that salve cancellation, and Dreamocell does pick up another kill on the Spectre. And that wasn't just
I
the
mean-
kill, John. You cancelled another salve.
Yeah, GeekFam is just bleeding out in certain aspects. I think both sides are copping a very hard offlane for both the heroes. The difference is, FBZ can jungle a lot better than Necrophos can, so Cuckoo's recovery is going to be a lot slower.
That it will be. He might just be a walking Reaper scythe at this point. So, bot lane, Zephyr getting jumped on now by Hyde. Paralyzing cast thrown out, but it's bouncing through the Ancients. He will die. And now Cuckoo gonna roam in onto Kescute, but Makoto's around the area. They are just focusing down this Necrophos so hard. Frost Blast, he does Ghost Form up, but that only amps the damage of Makoto and Hyde. And boom, Esports. Man, oh man, 8-6 now, 1k net worth lead. Now, I don't know what Cuckoo's done wrong, John, but they've got 5 kills on his name so far.
Yeah, it's a complete shutdown of the Necrophos. I think they understand though. Like the moment the Necrophos tapers off, it's not going to recover. It's not like a Batrider. There's just no space for it to farm.
He's gonna have to spend so much time trying to catch up. Makoto now at level 8 trying to go after Raven, but FBZ not at that level 6 mark yet. He needs one more creep. And so they don't bother trying to make the complete chase onto Raven. Instead, Raven will TP out. He will take over the bot lane, and it feels like this is what probably should have happened a long time ago now, where they bring Raven down to the bot and switch out Cuckoo to go up to maybe the top lane. Though no, Cuckoo's actually just going to stack for himself.
Yeah, it's I don't think he can show up in any lane. He's just going to be immediately jumped on by 3 heroes. This is the best you could hope for. This does give Mikado an opportunity to chip away at that tier 1 top end. Doesn't seem to be any signs of a defense from GeekFam, so this should just go the way of Boom.
This really shouldn't be happening, just based on drafts. This really shouldn't have panned out this way. GeekFam trying to go after Kescute now. Raven does get a nice ensnare off and cancel the TP. That is really the one saving grace right now, as Raven is top of the net worth board on that troll. And he is working his way on towards a Battle Fury, and he's getting somewhat close to at least picking up that Mithril Hammer. He should have a pretty decent timing if this keeps up.
Yeah, he certainly should. But the same thing's happening for Dreamwhistle. He's going to have a pretty good time into the Radiance. So you've got to ask yourself which one's more impactful, because once the Radiance is up, the Spectre can at least have some presence in the fights. The Troll, with a Battle Fury, yeah, you could splash some damage. The main thing is just faster farm.
Oh, here we go again. Kescute having some issues. We'll have a quick pause. I wonder what the minigame is this time. Oh, it's musical chairs.
And no one's playing.
Well, you know, they should really let the casters play, John. I think, right?
Yeah, that would be... I don't know how I'd feel about that, but that would be interesting. Nonetheless, not a long pause. Not enough time for that.
I would have still won, John. Cuckoo's going to show up in the mid lane, just by his tier 1 tower where he feels safe. Hyde was around the corner, ready to make the jump if necessary. What's really crazy as well is this roaming Ember is only like a little bit of XP behind the Necrophos. You know, this is your core Necro, and really he's not even one full level ahead here on Cuckoo. He's trying to catch up the best he can, but you're essentially going to have this like 4th core on Boom Esports in the form of Hyde. And there it is. He's now out-leveling Cuckoo.
Yeah, it's a worrying sight for GeekFam, as they have bled away a lot of control on the map as well. Like, Boom is free to farm that top jungle. Though you do see GeekFam start to rotate in bot. And Kescute, he's always been the target, which isn't too bad for Boom, right? It's just a Lich. You're not losing out in much. Still, GeekFam, looks like they want to work their way to that tier 2.
Well, they've got the Roar available on Carl, so they just want to secure an easy kill. Carl just can't really break the distance, and I mean, you kind of just said it, it's just a Lich. You know, you'd rather hold the Roar and get someone else, but top lane, Zephyr. TP being forced out by Boom Esports up to the top lane, but it does get cancelled cancelled off. Makoto still seeing if he can make the jump onto Zephyr, but he is running all the way back to the fountain. Now, I can see a very similar kind of item build for the side of GeekFam right now. They're just spamming braces. Seems quite important right now.
There's just not enough farm. Like, Cuckoo needs something to stay tanky, so he's just on the bracers, just ensure he doesn't die. And the Witch Doctor as well. Zephyr has been picked off a couple of times. He needs to have some durability to cast that Death Ward later on. So just stack the bracers. It's...
FBZ doesn't actually commit lasso. He saw a TP coming in, saw the Ghost Shroud. I thought he would still go for it, but not the case. Now Makoto, top lane, Zephyr, stun, will be dodged out. Oh, I say that, but it still ends up coming after him anyway. Flame Break now, Zephyr gonna pay for his crimes. Aether Emerald, though, nice Fortune Zen, but now the Chain Frost will bounce through once. And you still have the lasso if you want to try and get the kill, but FBZ, he'll end up TPing down to the bot lane. And he can try onto Carl now, and that's exactly what he... No, he's not. He's just gonna Firefly for some farm. So the lasso will remain off cooldown.
Yeah, I think Boom is still fine with this, though. Like, you look at Hyde, he's been kind of saving up. Of course, he has had the Urn for a while, so you would like to get a couple of charges up for that Ember, but it looks like they're just going to be satisfied in forcing movements out from GeekFam. They know they're giving Dreamosol a lot of space to farm up, and that's it. We mentioned from draft, all they need to do is stall the game for that spec. This is helping Raven towards that Battle Fury buildup as well. It's just that GeekFam hasn't been punishing the Spec. I think the Spectre is just going to enjoy a slower game compared to a Troll.
The thing is, though, you are still up against the Necro, right? Like, even though Cuckoo suffered quite a lot this game, Reaper Scythe doesn't change based on farm. I don't know if you want to really allow Raven to keep free farming as well in the Troll, because he is farming faster. And he does have the Battle Fury now, just being completed. I'm not sure if the whole Spectre late game thing still counts when there's a Necrophobes. That's my problem here.
Yeah, it does kind of get harder for Dreamcell to find out, although.
Raw committed on Dreamcell. It's not really going to matter, though. They have plenty of control here. Lasso not even being expended. Just unnecessary. They'll use the Horn instead, but now Raven. Running in. He's by himself right now. Just wants to go into the whole team. The rest of his support's there to back him up now. Kescute being the one to get stunned up, and Death Ward will be committed. Chain Frost does not bounce. That ends up being a support for a core trade. Still very, very nice for Boom Esports. They'll just keep delaying things out.
Yeah, they get to use this time to get back to farming. I'm surprised Raven showed up really early with a Battle Fury. You'd expect just, you know, instant farming coming out from that, but he does get space in the bot lane now, and both teams do relax just a bit more. You've mentioned the lasso still being up, FBZ. I suppose now, since you're so close to it, you just wait for the blink. He's just about 800 gold off, so you're going to have that easy access into the back, and that's probably the time we'll see Boom start to make more aggressive commitments.
It's just that, it's just Raven on that Troll. He's just still freely farming up. He's going to pick up a Yasha up next, maybe into the Sergeant Yasha. They'll go after that tier 1 mid tower now. Carl has grouped up with his team. Because we haven't seen a Reaper Scythe yet either. That's still off cooldown, waiting to be used. And that tier 1 tower, it melts quick.
It's a troll beast. You know, the right clicks do come out fairly quick. You do have the Ags up in Mikoto now. So you've got more options in these fights. That silence we've seen time and time and again. It works wonders. It catches people off guard, so let's see whether or not GeekFam is ready for that. Of course, they go straight into the pit, but that scanned out.
It is scanned out, but they're not going to give up on it. Raven takes it very quick with Carl, but here comes Hyde to make it obvious they know. Kescute has the Chain Frost as well. Great silence onto all heroes. And now, look at the damage coming out from Hyde. They'll roar up. They'll turn around with the Chain Frost. It's bouncing around, but the Reaper's Scythe. Makoto will end up dying. And now, Lasso is going to be there on Raven, but there's the false promise as well. FBZ trying to run away. And well, more Sleight of Fists flying out with the Flame Break, but the Fate's Edict from Whiteman blocking out so much of the damage. And ultimately, Boom Esports still come out on top. And now it's back into that Roshan pit.
Yeah,
Hyde.
you've lost most of your ults.
It's going to try for the Steel John, I can feel it. With the Sleight of Fist, I think he might go for it. It's on the deck and no Raven. He will go ahead and pick it up. Now Fortune's End is out, but they won't bother chasing. They got what they came for, and that'll be it. They'll back out.
It's a really strong win for GeekFam there. Just having the leeway now to play a lot more aggressive on Raven if they wanted to. Boom. That was the Ags reveal on Mikado, and doesn't really pay off. Their initiation was just a bit too slow. You do have the blink from FBZ now. The biggest target to go for has to be the Oracle, because there's no one else you can really lasso safely. It has to be Whitemon. You take out the option for the false promise, and the cleanup can come afterwards, but you cannot do anything as the bat as long as that Oracle's around.
You're slowly also starting to see Cuckoo catching up. You know, it's been a slow process, but with this self-stacking for himself, he is slowly but surely making his way to that mech. We'll just have almost about enough gold for that mechanism. And mid lane, FBZ, Hyde, ready to jump in. Zephyr will be the target, and here we go again, huh? The pause right on the lasso. It is just a Witch Doctor, though. So I'm sure that Zephyr is just gonna die. Cuckoo's having some lag issues right now. And yeah, I mean, look, this should just be an easy pause 4 kill. Nothing much else to say about it.
Should be. Yeah, no, it's like he has Hyde around anyway. It's unfortunate, though, that Cuckoo disconnects then. And if you look at Cuckoo, he's actually found some space to farm. Does have the mech recipe ready to go. So you're going to have a lot more sustain coming out from GeekFam. Don't reckon we have the Spirit Vessel up and running yet. That is going to be Hyde's farm. And as a support, it can take a while to find that upgrade.
Well, Chains actually miss onto Zephyr. Whiteman's coming in, doesn't have false promise, but will actually save him. Coconut, no, they burst him down now. But in terms of that mid-tier 1 tower, if that's what they came for, they are not going to get it. They do back out.
Yeah, and GeekFam, they're going to be happy to hold on to that objective. They're still feeling like they're ahead. They've got all their ults up. They invade the jungle bit.
Whiteman be caught out here. Yeah, chained up. Makoto doesn't even second guess it. With that double damage, he has so much damage available to him and just burst down the Oracle. I suppose now they could try and set up on this top tier 2 tower, as it is already less than half HP. And yeah, Makoto, bit more value out of that double damage rune. He gets onto that tier 2, and at the bot lane, of course, GeekFam, they're not going to fight without the Oracle. They will do the exact same thing. Just an even trade.
Yeah, it's not too bad for GeekFam. I think they've been playing away from that top jungle for the better part of the past 5 minutes anyway. This does lead to the Radiance of Dreamocell, so the Haunt presence is a lot stronger. We'll see whether or not Boom wants to reveal it anytime soon. The Haunt is up, and Lasso is going to be up in about 10 seconds left.
That should be pretty soon, then they try to initiate into a team fight, I guess. I mean, you're going to notice the Radiance is there, because Dreamocell is farming creep waves. So you definitely want to try and make as much of an influence with that Radiance timing as you can. Boom, I'm not sure if they have any smokes available on them right now. I'm sure they'd love to go for one. They do. Hyde's holding it. They'll group up, and they do smoke up. Who's the target? Oh, I found him. It's Cuckoo in the mid lane for sure. Or maybe not. They loop around. Smoke on smoke action though. GeekFam. They've also smoked up. Very scary kind of scenario. Who gets the initiation here? Makoto gets spotted by Raven, does dissimulate straight away. Meanwhile, in the back, they are trying to make a jump here onto Kesku, but Lasso is going to be out. They caught the Oracle. They need him to survive. He's been silenced up, still walking out there. Kesku, Whiteman does go down, but Kesku does as well. Now the Roar, though. The Spectre getting caught out in Cuckoo with some sweet, sweet revenge. And that is a huge pick-off to find for GeekFam. It took so much time for Boom Esports to kill off the Oracle. They kind of forgot their POS 1 was dying at that time. And Raven would have loved to go after that Void Spirit, but we'll have to let it go. Instead, there is a mid-tier 2 tower to take.
Yeah, it's going to be a really quick push once more for GeekFam. Boom. I mean, yeah, they've got the Radiance and the Spec. That's not enough to throw the Spec into the front line. It's still fairly squishy. You're going to be looking at maybe the level 20 talent and a stat item, which in this case looks to be the Manta style. You're still going to struggle. You mentioned it from the start, but Cuckoo's Necrophos is at the point where he can survive long enough to get the Reaper's Sight off, so Boom has to be really careful of where they put Dreamo Cell in the middle of all of this.
It just seems like they just took so much time on that Oracle. And even I'm shocked, like how Whiteman survived so long. Perhaps it was just the raindrops he had. Just blocking just enough damage. Of course, Carl, he gets the Roar off, and suddenly, it's a very easy kill onto that Spectre. Dreamercell not going to be too happy about that. We'll continue farming up. Going to try and go into the Manta style now. And things have seemingly slowed down a little bit for Boom Esports. They still have the Lasso, mind you. They're ready to go again, and at least find one. Just a matter of whether they're willing to, though. If they do, they will run into Zephyr soon. It's not really the kill you'd want, but I guess you just take what you can get. And they won't even find that.
Nah. And the big issue here for Boom in all of this movement is that they don't really have great deep wards to play around with. They've got one defensive ward by the pit, and that's pretty much it. So they don't quite know where GeekFam is, and without that information, they can't find those pickoffs. So they're just stuck playing the farm game. This does give Hyde his Spirit Vessel, so you've got some way to mitigate the heal now at the very least. That can be really helpful up against Cuckoo. So we'll see if that's going to be enough, as they really just haven't been able to get a grip on Raven anymore.
GeekFam, they'll just keep controlling up this Radiant side jungle. Raven getting very close to picking up a full Satanic now on that Troll. Does have the Reaver's Edge. FBZ. Gonna continue to clear out these creep waves. Keep farming up. So he's trying to go for a Yules, and interestingly enough, FBZ actually has another urn queued up. I doubt he'll go for it, but I'm not 100% sure why he'd go for a secondary urn. Makoto right now completely surrounded. He will dissimulate an Astral Step away. Does have a double damage rune active, so he'd love to go for a team fight right now. His team is also around in the Dire jungle, and they have the high ground advantage. FBZ, Lasso, again straight onto Cuckoo, put him on the cliff. That's where he'll stay. In fact, no, they bring him down and they'll kill him off. And the rest of GeekFam just don't want to deal with it without Cuckoo, or maybe they do. Carl, if he could find a nice Roar off here, could be a big kill, but they might just have to settle on Hyde. He will remnant out of there. No way to really initiate here for the Beastmaster. And so they won't actually find anything.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to be too unhappy as GeekFam. Again, you have just consistently thrown Cuckoo out. He doesn't need a farm ult.
We'll remnant out. Again, Carl is continuing to hold that Roar. Just doesn't really want to commit it on just the support. That'll be it. Cuckoo will be back up. He'll join the team again. Back into that mid
overall,
lane it is.
yeah, overall, this kind of pace is still playing into GeekFam, despite that presence of the spec. Dreamwhistle has fallen behind in terms of how fast he can build up. Even Carl just going ahead with the core mid Beastmaster in terms of farm. So a lot of issues starting to come out for Boom. This is when GeekFam is near their strongest point, and Boom's best bet now is just to keep trying to stall, keep trying to farm up. They do have a few more cores in terms of heroes right now, especially since Hyde can transition quite well. So if they stall the game out, they should have better scaling. It's just that GeekFam has been making that very hard. They've lost nearly all of their outer towers except one. So again, that issue they've had with vision on the map, it's just really hard for them to either hunt or defend themselves because they just don't have great warding spots left.
Thing is though, Boom Esports, they've kind of left the Roshan alone. GeekFam do spot that out, of course. They could try and sneak a very, very fast Roshan, and Raven says that's exactly what we're going to do. Boom Esports, they do not want to let this Roshan go down like this. It's some really nice timing for GeekFam now with the Aegis and Cheese. You're going to be able to try and go high ground with this kind of lineup. And Boom, they did smoke up, but they just reacted way too late. Raven does run up to the Radiant Triangle now. Smoke still not being broken. Boom, they want to keep fighting. FBZ, smoke broken. Hyde will chain up Cuckoo. Lasso is going to be there, but this is working into the way of GeekFam. They put Cuckoo on the cliff. So he's safe now. Chain Frost going to bounce through as well. And who have they jumped on? Raven, he does find Makoto there with Carl. Raven still going after Hyde, gets the ensnare off as well. He can't remnant out of there. Boom Esports, what kind of fight is that?
Yeah, that was strange. I think they just wanted to isolate Cuckoo and hope that everyone else from GeekFam would be manageable, but they weren't. They're just too far behind in terms of getting a good spot.
That wasn't it.
No,
And,
definitely
you can
not.
definitely force high ground right now. Raven's got a Satanic on the way. He's got Aegis. There's a cheese on Cuckoo? Yeah, it's on Cuckoo. That should be at least a tier 3. Maybe even a Rax, because again, they have that secondary life. Third life if you count that Satanic. And off the back of a bad Roshan fight, Boom Esports, they'll find themselves 1 Rax behind.
Yeah,
Jumping in again.
possibly more.
Possibly more, yeah, Raven. He's still going. Keskut gonna be in trouble. That Lich is just gonna melt. In fact, no. Stick charges will save him. GeekFam, they'll keep going. Raven doesn't care. Frost Shield will be there to try and defend this. I don't believe they have a repair kit. And that's gonna be a second tier 3 tower, and I love this from GeekFam. Understanding there's no need to back off. We'll just keep going after this. Hyde, now Haunt does come in. Dreamwhistle realizes he has to fight. FBZ going for the lasso onto the Oracle. They do kill off Whiteman. There's a Reaper Scythe, however. Dreamwhistle almost dying, but surviving. No, he goes down to Zephyr. Now the lasso is there on Cuckoo. They do kill off the Necrophos. Carl is also very, very low right now. Makoto, though, being chased out by Raven. Chains out from Hyde will save Makoto's life, but Raven still going after somebody. He's just being kited out right now. They'll go back after Carl, and they will secure the Beastmaster kill, and that'll mean Raven will back off with the Aegis intact.
Yeah, it's a defense coming out from Boom. I don't know if you'd say that was the best. They still had to sacrifice their spec, and Raven's still looking to fight.
Why not? He's got the Aegis. He's still got his Satanic up. He just needs an ensnare, and he found one. Yeah, you're going nowhere now, son. You're in Ensnare City. Raven just picks up another kill. Cuckoo just loves giving it to Hyde now that he knows they're winning the game. So after that laning stage, Cuckoo is ready with the tips.
Yeah, and Boom, I mean, they're still down to Rax. They lost the melee Rax in mid. So this will let GeekFam potentially just go for the bots at a Rax. And they're going to have Roar back. It is back up. The site is 40 seconds off.
This is dangerous, Makoto. Oh, paralyzing cast hits. He does dissimulate. He needs to astral step away, and he will. Oh, Raven, ensnare. Does he get lucky? No. No, he does not. Death ward damage with the, won't be enough either with the Maledict. But, I believe Raven has a Basher on the way now.
Yeah, and that's just going to help him. If he doesn't get a root, he could always try for a bash. And that is really just going to, you know, give you more control, give you more damage. It's not like they need more, though. Boom has been unable to find an answer for this troll. And they're really just trying to buy that time for Dreamosol. He's trying to split farm up. Does have the level 20 talent, is saving up for a heart. But it's not going out there fast enough.
Raven just goes in. Tier 3 tower is gone. He's ignoring every hero that goes by. He's literally mooing at them right now, John. There's going to be a lasso in the backlines. Whiteman is going to die. It's a good way to start here for Boom Esports. But Makoto's also going to go down on the Void Spirit. Dreamercell, however, does kill off Zephyr. Makoto buying back. Raw is there to hide. They want that Ember dead. He will be fine. Reaper's Scythe is still up. And what is this lag? Alright, my screen is completely frozen right now. And, oh, okay. So, someone's... Is it dead for you, John? Is it just me?
It's
uh-oh.
It's still going.
Well, I've got a connection problem apparently. So let's see if we can fix that up.
Yeah, it's been a buyback from Dreamosol. Raven's dropping low. They're chasing down. Hyde does get force stabbed out. Makoto is running back in. They yields up the troll. Raven actually died.
Okay. Okay. We are back. So Raven ended up dying. I apologize for that. I have no idea what's happened.
Yeah, but just Raven got punished, hung out a bit too long. They did force the buybacks out though. So Dreamosol had to expend his gold. He's not going to build into that heart anytime soon. But they did find that massive kill. That is a slight opening for Boom. They've dragged out the net worth lead down to 5k from GeekFam, and GeekFam, they've got to really be careful. They don't quite have Megas, although they've taken out all the melee racks, which are the most important ones anyway. And they still have a pretty good grip in this game, but they are giving Boom a way to bounce back in.
Cuckoo, Aether Remnant does latch on. Cuckoo will be fine. He's just Glimmer caped up. He does have a Lotus Orb up now as well, which really is going to help. Oh, well, I say that. He does get lassoed up straight away. Dreamercell with the Haunt in. Whiteman again going to be the target on the Oracle, and he will just die. Now Cuckoo in trouble. Carl does throw the Roar out. That Spectre is falling very, very low, and no, it's actually Makoto on the Void Spirit dying. Now Hyde comes back in. Dreamercell still trying to man-find Cuckoo. Reaper Scythe in 1 second. He can't get it off, but Dreamercell dies anyway. The chase is on. FBZ, TP's out of there. Hyde has no remnants. Does get scouted out, and the creep wave won't leave him alone. But they will ignore him, and they will start running down mid, as that Spectre does not have buyback.
Yeah, no buyback in the Spectre. No buyback on the Void Spirit as well. So it's going to be very hard defense for Boom if they want to prevent the Megas. And GeekFam at this point could just pressure those tier 4s.
Raven's going to go ahead and do the safe thing and secure the racks first. Get those Megas up, make it as hard as possible. And now, on to the tier 4s it is. Carl going to come in and escalate things. Raven hitting like a madman right now. Frost Shield will delay things out, and there's the Glyph as well. But they know that they've got so much time. All they've got to do is wait for that next creep wave to come in. In fact, never mind that. Raven just goes back onto the tower. Chains flying out from Hyde, but it's only doing so much as Zephyr's just healing through it. But now Lasso. Carl's been left alone. Into the fountain you go, Carl. He's been gazed as well, and Carl is going to die. He buys back immediately. Still Raven is being healed up here by Whiteman and Zephyr. Just constant heals flying in. They Spirit Vessel, but Raven with the Satanic just heals up to full HP again. But they've bought enough time for Makoto to be up. Can they deny this this Ancient away from GeekFam? Perhaps with Makoto. Aether Remnant will latch on. They need 10 seconds for the Spectre. Raven will get started though, the Ancient. There's the double Yules coming out with the Lotus. Raven is still whacking away. The Ancient's in trouble, but that Spectre is 3 seconds away right now. Raven does battle trance. Here he comes though. Dreamer, so what can you do to help? Raven's in the fountain right now. Raven, no! Get out of there! False Promise comes out. Now the Ancient's still under siege. The team fight has officially begun. Dreamer Cell got to run away from that troll right now. Makoto going in, but there's the Reaper Scythe. It'll come out of Cuckoo, and that'll be the GG. They have no way to lock down GeekFam. And I mean, look, pulling them into the fountain was a great idea. It worked on Carl. It almost worked on the troll, but you had Whiteman still alive with the False Promise. Had Raven died there in the fountain, you never know what could have happened. But it is not the case.
That wasn't the target to go for. That was FBZ with the Ags. He had the double lasso. He could have gone for a deeper target there, installed it out, but he was just forced to jump in. And in the end, GeekFam take it fairly convincingly. Boom, they tried to play the stall game, were punished, did not have enough pressure on Raven. That's something they have to fix up for game number 2.
Yeah, and I apologize to the viewers again about that random server disconnection. I have no clue what's happened. It's not my internet. It's probably just the line between Australia and C. It can be a bit funny. I'll reconnect to the game in the break, and so hopefully it won't happen again. Nevertheless, it is MLP Dota and johnxfire. We'll see you all again in 10 minutes for game number 2 between Boom Esports and GeekFam.